All right, Shalom. I would like to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahawashi, by Hashem Rakha HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS who rule well, and honor and salutations to those of you who are of the elect. All right, so this topic is going to be about the Passover and whose example should you follow when it comes to the Passover? Okay, you got every year it seems like every time the Passover rolls around, we pick there's a different group that last year was it's always Nate is always in the mix. I won't say that. So, but in any case, the point is that you always get one of these Israelite groups making a mockery of what the Passover is. Okay, the Passover is meant to be a solemn assembly. The Passover is meant to be a hasty gathering. It's not something that's supposed to take 4 or 5 hours. Y'all out in there partying and listening to music and what have you. It's a reflecting time. This is what the bitter herbs are for, and it's a time to fear the Most High. If only for the fact that every year something major happens in Israel when the Passover comes around. So you should be fearing. Asking the Lord for forgiveness, asking the Lord to keep you in this thing. This is the time of the Passover, and this is what it's for. It's a reflection time. A time where you should say to the Lord, please don't leave me behind. Because what was the Passover? The original Passover was an event where we left the land of Egypt and went through the Red Sea and went into the wilderness and went to our own land. And the idea was, look, if you don't do these things the right way, you're gonna get left here. You're gonna get taken by this death angel. Okay, so your sentiment should be, I don't want to be left behind. I don't want to stay here. Please, Lord, allow me to see your grace. Allow me to receive your mercy, and that's the behavior you should have, not a behavior of celebration. Okay. So the point I wanted to make in this show, and hopefully make the point and it's edifying, is that everybody uses Hezekiah or these other Passover examples as, we gonna make a Passover like this, or we gonna make our Passover gonna be greater than this Passover, and so forth and so on. But you should be following the example of the Lord Yahawashi. Anything post the Lord Yahawashi's appearance on earth, anything after his time, should follow the example of when he was here. Okay? He took precedent over anything that happened before him. Anything that went on before him, whether it be a Passover, whether it was how men went about keeping the law, being more carnal about it than spiritual. Anything that happened before the Lord Yahawashi, he took over that. He stepped over that. He look, because he said he came to matter of fact, I think it's Matthew's, what is it, 5 and 15, I think 5 and 17. It's one of these. Just bear with me for a second here. Yeah, 5 and 17. It says, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Right? And when you look up this word fulfill,
Strong's G 4137, plerao.
Right? It says to make full, to fill up, i.e., to fill to the full, to cause to abound, to furnish or supply liberally. I abound, I am liberally supplied. To render full, to complete. To fill to the top, so that nothing shall be wanting, to full measure. Fill to the brim, right? So he was the he was the completion, right? He was the capstone, so to say, right? He was the topper, you know, and anything after him should follow his example. That's what he came here for. He came to, one, to deliver the nation of Israel, right? But two, to show us how to live in these fleshly bodies, to show us how to behave ourselves in these fleshly bodies, okay? To show that the flesh can be conquered when you believe on him, right? So he was the consummate example of how you should behave yourself. So anything after him should follow his example. So I got some scriptures here that I want to go to. You know, you can go back and look up this definition. It goes into say more of the same thing I just said. But I got some scriptures written down. I wanted to talk about the Passovers of old, and even then, you know, the first Passover was a hasty event. As a matter of fact, I'll go there first. Okay. Exodus 12:1. It says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you." Okay. "Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs that they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and the purtenance thereof." Now check this out, right? You got the unleavened bread, right? And then you got this animal, right, that you're gonna cook, right? Normally, when you cook, bread, what you do, you get the leaven in there, so it can raise up, and so you can get that flavor in there. Then when you get the lamb, you want to get the proper cuts. You want to cut the fat out, and you want to get the good part of the meat, whatever, right? But in this case, the Lord is saying, look, we don't got time for that. Don't even bother leavening the bread. Don't bother breaking the lamb up. Just throw the lamb in the oven and bake the bread. No leaven in it, right? That's a indicative of how hasty this event was. There was no time to do those extra things because this was a hasty event. Okay? It says, "And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded." So not only do you make it fast, right? You keep your loins girded, meaning keep your clothes on, right? Your shoes on your feet and your staff in your hand, meaning you were in that time, you had to be ready to go. They probably, you know how when you got to wake up at a certain time and you're afraid that your alarm won't go off, and you kind of restless throughout the night, you keep waking up to look at the clock. This is how they were. They had their shoes on, clothes on, looking up to make sure it was time, seeing when it was time to go, right? This was a hasty event. This was a serious thing, not a celebratory event, right? So why would you in the Passovers succeed in that, make it celebratory? It wasn't meant to be celebratory. It never was. Okay? So it says, "And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover." Right? It says, "For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord." You see? So the Lord was getting ready to kill some shit, man. It was getting ready to go down. This event wasn't meant to be celebratory. Let's celebrate. Now think about it, right? Here it is. This is a nation that been in captivity since the beginning, and now they're about to be freed, wouldn't you think they would celebrate about that? You would think that they would celebrate an event like that where they were being freed from slavery. But no, the Lord said, look, let's get this thing going. This is going to be a day of death. Get yourselves together, put your clothes on, eat this food, get this last little meal in you, because shit is about to happen. Okay? So even if the Lord, and I hate to say it this way, but even if the Lord Yahawashi never came, this is still an example of haste. This is still an example of being solemn, being fearful, right? So, the next scripture I want to go to is the Lord's Passover, right? Because the Lord Yahawashi, he held the Passover. Okay, so this is Matthew 26 and 17. It says here, now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Yahawashi, saying unto him, where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And he said, go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, the master saith, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. Right, so this Passover, he was saying, look, his time was at hand. What was his time? He would have to be sacrificed for the nation of Israel, man. Right? And he knew this, right? So here's the setup to what kind of mode they were in that time, right? And the disciples did as Yahawashi had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Now when the even was come, he sat down with the 12, okay? And as they did eat, he said, verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. Now think of that, man. Here you are, you at the table, right? And you eat, y'all are eating, and you looking at the nigga that's getting ready to turn their back on you, to betray you, to turn you over to the authorities, man. Do you think that's a man that's in a celebratory state of mind? You think that's a man that wants to have a good time? No. He was getting ready to be betrayed by somebody that walked with him for a few years, man. That ain't something that'll make you want to celebrate. Right? So it says, and they were exceeding sorrowful, you see, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I? Now they worried, man. I don't want to be the guy that is going to betray the man that I'm following. Right? And he answered and said, he that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goeth as it is written. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him. But woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Now imagine hearing this kind of news, man. Imagine hearing this, like, damn, yo, what the fuck, man? I hope it ain't me. That ain't no you ain't gonna be feeling like playing no music and having a good time. Now you'll see that they did sing hymns, right? But it wasn't no celebration going on, clapping your hands and stomping your feet and, you know, getting one of the Israelite damsels to come up in the middle of the congregation and do a little dance for the congregation. You know? It says, then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said. And as they were eating, Yahawashi took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, Take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remissions of sins. You see? So he was getting ready to die, man. And he knew he was getting ready to die. That ain't no celebration, man. And if you care about the Lord Yahawashi, a lot of you guys don't think that the Lord Yahawashi was a real man that walked on the earth, man. If you cared about him, you would say to yourself, you know what, nah, that Passover was his sacrifice. I'm not gonna be out here dancing and partying and having a good time. I'm gonna be in a lower state like he was. If you cared about him, right? Because at the end of the day, he considers his men his friends. And if you are his friend If you love him like you say you do, then you shouldn't be celebrating on the day that he had to give his life away, man. The hell is wrong with you people? Okay? It says, but I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then saith Yahawashi unto them, all ye shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. But after I am risen again, I will go before you into Galilee. Now, he's saying all this stuff like, damn, what do you mean? You gonna leave? This is not putting them in the mindset of a celebration, man. It's putting them in a mindset of being solemn. Okay? So this is the example that we should be following. Okay? Yes, there were Passovers before where there were celebrations, but this is the example of the Passover that you should follow, right? I want to go here. Okay? I want to show you something, right? Because the Lord said it too. He said, look, nigga, yeah, there was people before me, but follow what I'm doing. Okay? This is Matthew 12:40, right? It says, for as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas, and behold, a greater than Jonas is here, right? So you had Jonas. Yeah, were you supposed to follow Jonas's example, right? Yes. But I'm better than Jonas. I'm one greater than Jonas is here. Right? So follow me. The queen of the south shall rise up in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, for she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And behold, a greater than Solomon is here. Wasn't Solomon the greatest king on earth? Right? Shouldn't we follow his example? Right. Yes. But I'm greater than him. Follow what I'm doing. Follow my example. Okay? Now check this out. Okay? Right. Now, when the Lord went in to matter of fact, let me make sure this is the right story I'm about to tell. Yeah, matter of fact, I'm gonna read it. This is Matthew 17:1, right? It says, after 6 days, Yahawashi taketh Peter, James, and John, his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias talking with him. Then answered Peter and said unto Yahawashi, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias. While he yet spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud, which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. Right? So, or even so, Moses and Elias, right, or Elijah, was examples of what? Moses was the example of the law, right? Elijah was the example of the prophets, right? So all these things were written in the law. All these stories were written in the prophets, right? But yes, are you supposed to follow the example? Yes. But this is the one I want you to follow. Him. Because you didn't listen to Moses. You didn't listen to the prophets. So follow him. Follow this example. Right? So anything that came after Yahawashi, you should follow the example of Yahawashi. Okay? So let me go to this last scripture. Oops. Okay? This is John 8:12, right? It says, Then spake Yahawashi again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. Right. So if the Lord is the light of the world, what do you do with the light? Right? The light is what? As something to brighten up your path so you can see, right? So if he's the light, you got to follow the light. Just like when we were leaving Egypt, right? And you had that fire by night to brighten the sky so we could see. We followed that light, didn't we? So now in this time, the Lord Yahawashi is that light. And we should follow that example. Right? So stop making folly or making the Passover into folly. Stop doing that, man. Have some respect for the one you say you love, if you love him so much. All right. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahawashi, Ba'Hashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, and honor and salutations to those of you who are of the elect. And with that, I say shalom.